We already know that the Chicago Bulls held their exit interviews yesterday for the media. And one of the things I took out of that is the Chicago Bulls possibly alluding to no major changes coming this offseason. Nikola Vucevic now wants to be a part of a winner at this point of his career. And we end the show with a mailbag from my man's R-Dub with something to say about those switching up on Kobe White. Y'all know we're going to talk about it and break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. We appreciate y'all for all this tremendous support. Let's go ahead and keep hitting that like button and subscribing. We on the road to 8K. That's the next milestone. But let's get into it. Now, some might sit here and say, well, Bobby, after seeing the season, there should be major changes coming to this Chicago Bulls team, right? I say right. You know what I'm saying? But what will we consider major? Is it just moving Nikola Vucevic? Is it getting rid of Patrick Williams and Nikola Vucevic? Or is it letting Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins and Trey Jones all walk out the door with those two players previously mentioned? You ask me, I don't think it's going to be major changes made to this Chicago Bulls roster. Now, if you ask me, I think there's a good 5 or 6 people that you can strongly consider to remain on this team. I absolutely think that you should consider keeping Josh Giddey, and I think that is something that's going to happen simply because I already said it when the trade first went down. You trading Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso straight up, you have to make sure that he is a player for years to come for your franchise because you didn't even try to get, or we don't know if they tried or not, but you did not get any additional capital with Josh Giddey when he was traded over here for the with the Chicago Bulls. Then you look at Kobe White. We ain't moving off of him. We can criticize him all we want, but he is still a very good player for this young team that's trying to thrive. Then Ayo Dosunmu, you allow him to get healthy, come back. He's absolutely a part of the future. Then our young promising rookie, Montes Buzelis, you ain't moving off him. Come on now. You ain't moving off him. And then you got guys like Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry, who some people may feel stronger about Julian Phillips or stronger about Dalen Terry. But I think those two players can still be a part of the future, at least for the next year or two. But what has me feeling like there won't be a lot of changes coming this offseason is simply because the things that Arturas Carnisilva said in the press conference yesterday. He went on to say, I cannot define the actual timeline, but what we need to do is build on the positives this year and this young group and look for ways to improve and come back next year with a little bit higher expectations, end quote. And look, there's been a lot of pushback, a lot of discussions about your timeline. Speaking of the Chicago Bulls here, their timeline to try to fix and navigate and work with the team and not necessarily taking a step back to take 3 steps forward, but pretty much trying to shrink the timeline in what a lot of people don't agree with. There are some people out there that want to see the Chicago Bulls throw games, get a top 5 draft pick, and then try to push forward in that way. I'm not with the tanking stuff. I'm a competitor, and I don't want to sit through an 82-game season and feed y'all nonsense for a team that's absolutely throwing away games. Then I always come to the conclusion, like, how respectful is it for you as the organization to go to young players like a Kobe White, like a Josh Giddey, Ayo Dosunmu, who wants to make sure they have long careers in this league and just to say, throw the games, bro. All right, we didn't play hard enough for 3 quarters, or we didn't play hard enough for 4 quarters, worked our ass off, sweated, battled, fell on the ground for 50-50 balls and did everything that we possibly can do. Yeah, just go ahead and throw the game now. We need this loss. What? I believe that's the ultimate disrespect that you can give some of these players who want to go out there and hoop and compete. So I'm not with the tanking stuff. Some people are pro tank. I'm against it. That's been my stance the entire time of doing this podcast. And then AK went on to say there is a plan. I think we're always going to look at how to improve this roster by adding a player or a high caliber player. Then he also said, I do believe that we wanted to build this roster. It's basically by having players that have experience to kind of shrink that timeline and continuously look for other ways to improve. Now, when he gave out his goals, one of his goals was acquire players with that are young but have experience. You have that all throughout the roster right now. You have that all throughout the roster. You're talking about Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Julian Phillips now, Dalen Terry now, Ayo Dosunmu, even the new guys, Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones. That's about 8 players that you already have that are young with experience that fits the mold of what the Chicago Bulls are trying to do. And then he also alluded to having financial flexibility with this roster in 2026. And it was not just one time that he brought up 2026. He brought it up multiple times. So that's what is kind of giving off the field that we might be running this thing back. And the last time we said, hey, Billy Donovan, we need a change. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we know there is a chance for Lonzo Ball to come back from this injury. We still need to look at other avenues because we don't want to be in a play-in again. Billy Donovan sat at the podium and was like, we're going to run it back. I think that year they picked up Andre Drummond, and that was about it. So this time, if you're going off what we've already seen, it's going to kind of be damn near the same thing. Are you mad at it? Probably not. Are you kind of disappointed? Probably so. Are you in the middle? That's cool too. But because, yes, you want to consider all things that have taken place with these young players. Josh Giddey said it himself. I wasn't myself coming into the season. I was trying to fit in too much. Then the Zach LaVine trades happened, and I just went out there and hoop. Just go out there and hoop now. Those and a lot of these players, along with the front office, said, well, we finished the season 15-5. And those are the type of statements that we've seen from the Bulls front office, to where the front office, they don't make too many changes to the roster that we currently have. And I don't think there are so many things that the Chicago Bulls can do anyway if we keeping it a buck, because like I said, you got nice young pieces that you can continue to push forward with. You have your own draft pick this year and you have your draft picks next year. Hence why AK is asking for patience. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to do anything, but I'm absolutely saying go and try to find some veteran role players that can come in and give you something better than what we had coming off the bench for us. Because if we constantly waiting for Patrick Williams to be the guy off the bench to give us something, we're going to be waiting forever. Javon Carter, he can come in and do something, but it's not good enough. THT can come in and do something, but it's not good enough. You know what I mean? And it was disappointing to see how Jalen Smith was able to fall out of the rotation. It was supposed to be that big to come in and back up and provide support for our bigs. And that virtually kind of changed once they picked up Zach Collins, to where I'm feeling like Zach Collins could be the one to help move forward, not necessarily coming off the bench, but probably being that starter as a big. And if we go into the draft, I absolutely believe the Bulls should be looking for a big. And who knows what they're going to do. I know that I'm looking at some mocks right now. They have the Chicago Bulls picking up some guards or whatnot. And I'm not necessarily looking to pick up a guard in the draft. I'm looking for an athletic big that can go out there and provide some rim protection when we need to switch things up a little bit. Jalen Smith can go out there and rebound. Jalen Smith can go out there and attempt to, you know what I'm saying, provide some type of rim protection, but I need a bona fide rim protector at this point of what the makeup of the Chicago Bulls is looking like. I believe guys will improve. How much will they improve? That's to be seen. I'm not going to jump out on a limb and say they're absolutely going to improve, because I said that countless times about Patrick Williams, and he hasn't improved. Period. He's actually worse than what he came into the season looking like. He came in looking way more athletic, way more energized, way more engaged. He was a much better defender, and all that stuff is out the window. I give kudos, and I give kudos to the front office with this. We had high expectations for Patrick Williams. He did not meet those expectations, is virtually what they said. Stand on business. And I understand there's going to be some people that's like, man, I don't want to hear nothing that AK say. That's fine. We don't have to necessarily like the guy. We don't have to be best friends of the guy, but he is the guy that's driving our team. And you don't have to like everything somebody to say to agree with a point. Just like the whole goals thing, me and C-Dub, we talked about it, the goal thing. He met all his goals. The 4 goals that he put out there, and if you missed it, he pretty much said that we want to bring in young players with experience. We want to change the style of play. We wanted to make different moves and find and keep our draft pick. He checked off all his boxes. Is it good enough for us as Bulls fans? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But to his standard, he met his standard, and hence why he ain't going nowhere and Billy Donovan ain't going nowhere. So, but another thing that came out that I've taken, notice of is that Nikola Vucevic is ready to move on, is what it seems like to me. You come out and you make statements saying at this stage of my career, he's at a place where he wants to win now and make deep playoff runs. He don't want to be in Chicago no more. And I ain't going to lie to you. We don't want you in Chicago no more. And it's not that we don't think you're a decent player, because we know you can go out there and give the Chicago Bulls something, but it's just not what we want to see with this young core anymore. We don't want to see Nikola Vucevic with the Chicago Bulls anymore. Go on and go be successful somewhere else, because I feel like what will change and help the Chicago Bulls is a young athletic big that Josh Giddey can throw lobs to, a young athletic big that can help clean up some of the deficiencies defensively for the Chicago Bulls, a guy that can get out there and run the damn floor and be able to catch passes in transition from a Josh Giddey, from Alonzo Ball when he returns, and maybe a Ayo Dosunmu when he returns as well. So Nikola Vucevic is ready, and we are ready too. And quite frankly, to be real with you, AK screwed up when you didn't just let him go at the trade deadline. I would have gave Nikola Vucevic away for a second-round pick and maybe just give me a young big that I can probably bring into my developmental team to see if we can get something out of that young big. There was rumors that there was a Clint Capella trade on the table. I would have took the trade. Clint Capella would have been a good defensive big that we could have ran with for the rest of the season and then just, figure out something else after that. I think he would have given us something that we absolutely needed. But what's done is done. But now it's time to move on. He wants to move on, is what it sounds like to me. He kind of alluded to him being okay with staying, but no, we know that's just being a professional. We know you ready to go somewhere else, because the Bulls ain't making a deep playoff run next season, at least right now for what it looks like. And what's a deep playoff run? That's going in the second and third rounds. I don't see that right now. Now, before we get up out of here, I got to let my man's R-Dub speak his piece. He got some things to say, so we're going to go ahead and play the voicemail. Here it is.
What's the deal, Cognac family? R-Dub. It's been a minute, but let me go ahead and make this short and quick because I know I don't got enough time. Check it out. It's only 5 players on this team that I'm thinking about moving forward with, and everybody else get moved around like some dominoes. I'm only moving forward with Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Matas Bucelis. I don't know why I said his name like some goofy. And Julian Phillips. Everybody else can get moved around. Dalen Terry, Booch, everybody else can get moved around. P. Will, gone. Everybody else can get moved around. I'm not on no baby kid glove shit. None of that. Everybody else can go. Straight up. We need to go ahead and we need some new faces. We need some role players who can actually fit their role, not mid-tier role players like Kevin Huerter. That's done and over with. I'm not with that ginger milk shit. That's over with, dog. Get his ass up out of here. This one was left on my heart, so I had to come back and say this. Yo, this switch up on Kobe White that a lot of y'all is doing, this shit real nasty. Excuse my language, but it's really, really nasty. Y'all gonna choose one game that y'all knew we barely had a chance of winning at all. don't worry about what we did in the regular season. We ain't beat this team out once before in the play-in because they had us calculated. And y'all chose this one game to be like, hey, yo, nah, get rid of us. That's nasty, nasty, nasty work. And the fact that y'all saying get rid of him before y'all can see him and Ayo with Giddy next year too, like that's something I need y'all to really take a step back and look at. And you know what? I want to add this last thing about Billy. Billy, you is a real goofball for not putting Julian Phillips in that game. Y'all done put Jalen Terry, hype, no skill having ass out there, but I said, nah, I ain't even going to put Julian out there. That needs to be reevaluated. Let me know what y'all think.
All right, so y'all heard my man's R-Dub. R-Dub, you sent 2 voicemails. I just mashed them together, bro. Hope it wasn't really no problem, but I wanted to have everybody hear your full thoughts because I think it was great to hear, and the people should hear it. Number one thing you talked about is the 5 players to keep. I'm 100% on board with you. With that, I still would consider Dalen Terry as a 6th man, but if it's those 5, I'm completely cool with it. Now, when you talk about those people that's switching up on Kobe White, I'm 100% with you. You shouldn't be switching up on Kobe White. You shouldn't be saying that the Bulls should trade Kobe White. And I'm 100% with that. And I want people to understand and don't get it misconstrued. Just because I think there's a ceiling on Kobe White's career, it doesn't mean that I want him off this team. I want people to understand that. And you said a very good point that I even didn't consider towards the end of the season, simply because how it ended. Fair. Simply because how it ended. And that's 100% fair, bro. But I'm going to echo what you said. Nobody should be saying Kobe White should be traded off this team. Me personally, I don't think that should happen. But what I believe is fair is to criticize Kobe White for not showing up in that game versus Miami Heat. Look, you can end the game with 17 points. But you have to go out there and like, bro, he should have been like when your team was down. I still stand firmly on that. When your team was struggling to put the ball in the basket, you got to say, give me the damn ball. I'm the best scorer on the team. Let me go give my team a bucket. That's the only thing that I'm pushing back on is that you know what I'm saying? And if we going off of the limitations to a player's career, I think that's fair. I believe that it's fair to say, hey, this player, like we did Zach LaVine, he's not a number 1 option on a championship team, but he was still an outstanding player. Same thing can be said about Josh Giddey. He even said it himself. I would never be a great defender. Those are limitations on players' career. And it's okay for some players to have limitations to their career. Can they still be outstanding players? Absolutely. We got LeBron James, the man that got 40,000 points in the fucking league. One of the greatest ever. He has limitations to his game. He's not a great 3-point shooter. Well, he has improved later in his career, but he's definitely not a great free throw shooter. So I believe that those people that saying we should absolutely trade Kobe, I believe that's 100% fair. I think that's off the rocker. But for those people that say I need Kobe White to have a good season and not just a good half in the season, I believe that's fair too. I'm 100% with you. We should not trade him. He should be a part of this young core moving forward. But if there are people that seeing limitations in his game and he needs to live up and fit that bill, I believe that's fair as well. It's not, we don't always have to agree, but we can come to an understanding that right now, at this point of his career, at least in my opinion, Kobe White, he has some limitations to his game. Can he very well grow because of his youthfulness? Yes. But I'm asking him to show me at this point. We've already, how many times have we came into the season and said, hey, P. Will is it's on, bro, and seen P. Will start off all right and have a 5-6 game stretch and be like, okay, P. Will starting to be aggressive. He averaging this, and this, and then he just completely fall off the map. I've come to the point, guys got to show me what they're really made of. And when I watch Kobe White versus OKC this season, and then this Heat game, there was a lot to be desired, bro. For me, there was a lot left to be desired. But I think you're 100% on the money with saying people that saying we should just absolutely trade him this offseason. I think that's a bit over the top. because we know that Kobe White can go off. The only thing I'm asking Kobe White to do is have sustained success for an entire season. That's all I'm asking for. Can he ever be an all NBA player? I don't necessarily think he can. And that's okay too. I think he can be an all-star. Yes. But all NBA and all-star, that's two different levels, bro. That's two different levels. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say he can be an all NBA player, but can he absolutely make a damn all-star game? Yes. Yes. There's levels to this. He can go be an all-star. And I felt like, just the last point, just to bring it all home, I felt like after him missing out on the opportunity for most improved player, you were supposed to come into this season and go off. That's what I was saying at the start of the season. Kobe White, go off. You should be playing with a chip on your shoulder. Go off. And he started off shaky. And then after All-Star break, he cooked. Imagine if Kobe would have cooked the entire season. He would have been in most improved player conversations again. They don't even have him listed in the top 5, bro, in certain, projections right now. That's the disappointing thing for me. But I'm 100% with you. Anybody saying trade him, I think that's a bit over the top. But anybody that's saying, hey, Kobe White's level is here and not here, I think that's a fair analysis. And I hope I hope you understood what I'm talking about. And I hope y'all understand that this is just basketball conversations. We can have a difference in opinion. Just let's make sure we keep it respectful at the end of the day. And I appreciate every single word that R-Dub has put out there for us, because these are the type of conversations that we need to be having. And it's okay to have a difference in opinion. Just don't get disrespectful. That man, I respect the shit out of R-Dub, and I know he respect me too. He's told me plenty of times, and I'm gonna tell him again. I respect the shit out of R-Dub. Hell of a conversation though. And that, y'all, is the end of today's episode, man. Well thought out mailbag from R-Dub. Very, very needed for the conversation around Bulls Nation right now, just so we can have these conversations and keep this thing going to see how we can eventually be in the fucking playoffs. Can we get to the playoffs, bro? I'm tired of playing in the play-in. Can we get to the damn playoffs, please? But in the meantime, in between time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Our lines are open, so go ahead. If you got something to say, you could be a part of a mailbag episode like this as well. The number to call in and leave your voicemail is 773-242-9219. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.